Okay, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? We are live right now. We are live, and I'm going to make my predictions on this fight coming up with between Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker, the rematch. Y'all very excited about this match, and I got a surprise today. I got MMA fighter Clifford Starks in the building, so he's going to give his perspective, and I'm going to get to interview him on his MMA career, and we're just gonna do this thing right here, okay? Let's see how this goes. I'm about to bring Clifford Starks in right now. All right, let me see how to work this. There we go. Got
Hey,
you in there.
what's up, Maurice? How you doing, brother?
Oh, doing good and yourself?
Doing well, thank you.
Hey man. Yeah, I remember when I was doing the remixes and I'll see you comment on there. He's like, why you keep putting that highlight of me in there with Yoel Romero? I'm like, oh. I'm like, wow, like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. Like, oh.
yeah. The comment was made in all good fun. I'm like, because I respect what you do. I love the remixes that you make, and they're fun to watch.
Okay. Now, I'm looking at your career right here. Before you went to MMA, you were into track and football. What was your 40-yard dash? Like how fast were you in track?
Yeah, my fastest was a 4.6.
Oh, 4.6. Okay.
Yeah,
I would like sometimes I think I ran a 4.5. I would say at the fastest, and that's my little highlight I have. Like
that's a great speed. Yeah.
yeah, that's at my fastest. That's my bragging rights there. Like, y'all remember? I'm like Al Bundy. I'm like, hey, I ran a 4.5 one day. Just letting y'all know, I ran a 4.5 one day. I was pretty fast.
Respect,
but,
respect.
but now I try to run too fast. Back start hurting a little bit.
Like I've
Now,
done it. It counts.
yeah, like I had my day. I had my day. Yeah, so yeah, I want to give people's perspective on MMA fighter who actually been in there. I had my perspective, but I never took a hit.
Yeah.
I took boxing lessons before, and I took a punch to the body, and I took a punch to the face before. But the body, man, is really it was something different. Like
It's a different
how?
game.
Oh, yeah. So what does it take to be an MMA fighter? Like, do you think you got to know how to take that hit or punch?
So you can get better at taking hits. There's a process behind that, but either you can take a hit or you can't. Like there's levels to this. Just like basketball, some people are 5 foot tall, they just are, and some people are 7 foot tall. So one of those things, one of those parameters, is being able to take a decent shot without going down.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I believe that's what Tyson say. Everybody could talk until they take a
Everyone
hit
has
or
a plan
something
until they get punched in the face.
to get punched in the face. And I believe that's the key because you could be the fastest puncher, you could be the strongest guy, you could be the biggest guy, but if you don't know how to take a hit, you're not going to make it in MMA or boxing because that's what I
Yeah,
believe.
you're in a
That's
little
the
bit of
deciding
trouble.
factor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
All right. So yeah. So um yeah. I see you do a lot of inspirational things, and you're into entrepreneurship. Like
Hmm.
what's your perspective on that?
Yeah. So, what's really cool is in the fighting world and the entrepreneurial world, a lot of those principles and philosophies transfer over. So it took me some time to be able to express them correctly. But as I've been in the game long enough, I can really see how those philosophies and principles are very, very similar. And
Hmm.
that's what makes it even more fun to me because it's like I get to continue to fight on because I'm always going to be a fighter. It's in my
Yeah.
DNA. But I don't have to take the wear and tear of actually physically getting inside of a cage. So it's really cool.
Oh, okay. Do you see yourself being a promoter in the future? Like getting to the
Potentially, I'm actually speaking with a friend about that right now.
oh,
His
okay.
name's Matt Lucas. He had a fighting career himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cause I see what's going on with Khabib. Khabib got his promotion going on right now, and I believe that will set an example. I guess people like fighters getting into that area of MMA as well, and that
Yeah,
could be a
yeah,
positive.
it's amazing watching what Khabib's done and how he's taking basically his life in his own hands. He's created his destiny, and it's really fascinating to watch him go through his process and go through his transformations.
Yeah, he did say he was the Floyd Mayweather of MMA, so I guess he means in the octagon and outside the octagon as well. He's taking care of his
Yes.
business.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and I'm rooting for him because I like his character. I like what he stands for, and I like who he is. I love his discipline and his work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah, that discipline is a key, man. That discipline not only is great for boxing or in MMA, but it's also great for business as well. Business and just taking care of goals. You got to have that discipline.
Absolutely, 100%.
Like right now, I'm studying to get my CCNA for cyber security and IT. Every
Oh,
morning, I got to
nice.
make sure that I get up every morning, like at 4 o'clock, and study for at least 2 or 3 hours to get
Yeah,
these courses in. So that
that's awesome.
just thank you, man.
Yeah. Well,
Now,
I can see like if the way you put your remixes together, you really care about your crafts and your arts. So yeah, I'd love to know more about your story and what you're putting together as well. I think that's really, really cool.
okay, what happened was, I've always been into music since I was 19. I started making beats when I was 19. I'm 38 right now,
Okay.
and I've been watching MMA. The person I got, well, I started watching UFC when I was in high school, and I seen before where Dana White got involved for Cheetah Brothers. I used to watch it, right? Then I stopped watching it, and then I got back into it when I seen Hoist Gracie fighting. What's his name? Oh man, they're hyping it up on Spike
Shamrock.
TV.
Was it
It
a
was
great fight? Was it a bigger opponent? Was it a
Matt
tough
Matt
opponent?
Hughes, Matt Hughes, Matt
Matt
Hughes, Matt
Hughes.
Hughes.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so they're hyping this on the Spike TV, right? And I was like, I thought
Mhm.
Hoist Gracie was undefeated, but apparently he was undefeated in UFC, not MMA. I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
got to check this fight out, man. The way they were promoting it, and then I seen
Yeah.
the fight happen. Matt Hughes beat him convincingly, but then I started getting into it. But I seen
Mm.
Anderson Silva fight on Spike TV. I was like, when he fought Chris Lehman, I was like, who is this guy? And I started
Yeah.
looking at all his fights in Pride. I was like, wow, and I really got into it since then.
Yeah. He was on another level. It was really cool to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
And
was good. Like,
he
wow.
pieced up Leben pretty badly.
Yeah, I was like, this the way the guy moves. I was like,
Yeah.
man, this is like Roy Jones of MMA.
Yeah. He's got some flow to him, that's for sure. Timing, range, he's a complete fighter for sure.
So Clifford, what inspired you to get into MMA? Like, what gave you
I
that inspiration?
I just like doing difficult, challenging things. And I saw an MMA fight and I'm like, I wonder if I could be any good at this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some of my boys, so there was Ryan Bader, CB Dollaway, Kane
Oh
Velasquez.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of them got in it before I did. So
Oh, okay.
I was rooting them on too along the way. But I had my own path, and I wasn't really interested in fighting. But a person that has an itch is going to scratch it. That's how I
Mhm.
think. And so when I'm ready to do something, I'm going into the thing that I want to do. And in that moment, I'm like, I wonder if I could be any good at this because I'm interested in it now. And I just
Yeah.
jumped in with both feet.
Man, it had to be something in you because I'm just thinking, just go into that cage and fight and just go through that. It has to
Yeah.
be like, what is it that's in you to make you want to deal with that, to go through that?
Yeah, it's I've had some tough times when I was younger, and I remember this one really I really hold on to this was 5 years old. I remember being in a hospital and I didn't know what was going on. Like I was trying to talk to my mom. She wouldn't really tell me exactly what was going on. My uncle wouldn't tell me exactly what was going on. And I remember him carrying me out of the hospital. And fast forward, my grandfather is in a coffin. And I'm like freaking out, like knowing like, oh my God, I'm gonna die one day. And it really, really sank in with me. And all I remember doing through that process was like, all right, well, I know I'm gonna die. So I gotta live as much life as I can. And whatever I feel called to do, I'm gonna do that thing. And I just felt called to do it. I felt called
Mm,
to go into the fighting world and see what I could become. And it sounds crazy sometimes because I look back at
yeah.
it like, oh man, I'm crazy as hell. But I felt called to do it, so I went to go give it a try and go all in, and I don't regret any of it because I had such an amazing experiences through going through the process.
Yeah, all the respect, because I look at that, I look at these fights, I'm like, man, I've seen somebody get like when you get ripped to the body like that, I'm like, then you got to still keep going after that. Yeah, all respect. And sometimes I think like I make these remixes and I've been making fun. I wonder like if I run into certain fighters, like what would they think of my remixes? Yeah, because I'm a comedian and I'm making fun, but I have all the respect in the world, but I'm also making fun. So I'm like, I can understand if somebody's mad at it.
Yeah.
So like, I can understand if you're mad at what I did, but I'm actually not. It's not disrespect, but I guess it can be disrespectful in a way.
So I think Mike Tyson actually said this. Another person's opinion has nothing to do with me, and
Okay.
I really hold true to that myself. Now, again, you do have to be careful because each fighter is going to be different. Like
Yeah.
some fighters are going to be like, "Hey, you were making fun of me, Maurice," and take that a
Yeah.
little bit personal. So it's about being cautious and careful with who you're dealing with.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
ultimately, man, we're all here just living, figuring it out, having fun along the way. That's the game that I play. And if you can't make fun of yourself, then what's the point?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, lately I've been more cautious about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
about doing like not trying to be too extreme with it.
Yeah,
And like there's certain fighters like I feel in my opinion that will probably get pissed off. I got my list. Like the fighter that there are certain fighters, MMA fighters, I believe that are going to be cool in a certain situation, and certain
yeah.
fighters that may not. I believe Mike Perry, he may get if you're in a setting, in a bar or so, he may go off on you.
That's a
Nick, the Diaz brothers,
possibility.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah, that's a possibility.
and get this, like John Jones is the best. There, he's arguably the best MMA fighter in MMA
Mhm.
history, right? I don't believe he's the type that will really go off on you. That's not the vibe I get from him. You got to really go deeper for him to go off on you. I believe he
Yeah,
might be a little
yeah.
cool.
It's interesting. Like everyone's hardwired differently, and so some things will like, oh, that's really gonna offend him, and some things might like. I don't see John Jones as even caring as much. I don't know. I can't really say. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's kind of figure out who does what and who responds to what. Because I'll tell you, the Luke Rockhold ones, like you poke at Luke with the same and I'm just like,
yeah.
I don't know how he would take that. I don't know if he would like, oh yeah, that's funny, or
Ah,
oh man, you're really hitting me with that.
I think about that sometimes. Like, man, what if I run into this guy? Like, he could be like, "Oh, you don't want to do that, huh? Do you know where you are?" Like, he'll get me and try to like, "You know where you are, huh? You know where you are, huh?" And I'm like, Rukar, he finally got him. He finally got Maurice. I'm like, and he's looking at these videos now. Like, that's how he looks. I know him. That's how he looks now. So I'm gonna find him. I'm like, oh, and it's crazy. I had this dream that I had this dream actually with John Jones. Like, he was holding me up against the wall and he was just looking at me.
uh,
Like he pinned me against the wall, just looking at me. And the reason why I had that dream because I just watched Home Alone. And you remember
uh,
that scene where they pinned Kevin to the wall? That's
yeah.
why I had that dream, but it was not the wet bandits. It was John Jones just looking at me. I'm like, man, it was a crazy dream. I'm like, I pissed him
Isn't
off.
that
I'm like,
fun how our minds can do that to us?
yeah. I'm like, oh shit, you got me. And Luke Rocco might get me one day. I was like, oh, hopefully I can still run, so you
Yes.
can't.
Use that 4-5-40.
Yeah, 4 or 5, man. Oh man, that's very cool. All right, what else can we talk about? Yeah, you have yeah, yes, your MA career. What are you up to right now? You
So
still
yeah, I
fighting?
just no, well, I train. So I do still train because I like keeping the tool sharp. I
Okay.
do it more to teach and coach more so than to actually fight. And as an entrepreneur, I really focus on helping people get their time back and
Mm,
basically be able to spend time doing the things that they want to do on their journey.
okay.
And I do this because it all started from just being a big dream chaser. I remember talking to my coach and I told him at a specific time, I'm like, I want to be in the UFC. in less than a year. And even he didn't believe that could happen. He goes, that can't happen. It's too hard of a sport to get there in that short a time.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I got to try. Like, if you're willing to try with me, let's try and see what we can do. And we ended up doing it in less than 10 months. So we ended up pulling it off.
Oh, that's great, man. Yeah, you got to have
Yeah,
that belief system in
absolutely.
there. Yeah, and with being an entrepreneur, the thing is like being an entrepreneur, there's a lot of work that goes into it because
Hmm.
right now I guess 2 years ago I left my 9 to 5 job as a delivery driver and went to business as an electrical contracting business. And yeah, it's some up and downs, being an entrepreneur. But yeah,
Yeah.
the rewards are really good though. But there's a
Yes.
journey
Yeah.
that goes through it, and it's similar to like
Absolutely.
MMA career in a way,
Yeah,
like taking
they're
that
the
big risk.
same because I look at the principles and philosophies because there's principles, philosophies, strategies, and tactics, right?
Okay.
And if you can get the principles and the philosophies down, the strategies and tactics, they're always changing anyway. So
Okay.
you got to have really a really solid foundation, and that's where the foundation is laid out. And it took me some time to actually realize that I had that piece, and I had that piece through my fighting career. I learned all those lessons through my fighting career, and now I can apply them to business owners because everything comes down to a system.
Mm.
Becoming a high performer in anything, high performers have the right systems in play. So when
Oh
I
yeah, that's
when
true.
I told my coach what I wanted to do, he didn't realize that I had already formatted high performing systems to begin with. So
Mm.
if I didn't have the mindset to be what I told him I could be in that moment, then yeah, there's no way. But I had already placed foundational pieces before him, and he started realizing like, wow, this guy improves extremely quickly. And it's like anyone can improve quickly. It just comes down to the right system.
Yeah, that's true, man. You gotta have that system, and you gotta have the right person. I read this book called what's that? It's about different personalities, right? It's called Surrounded by Idiots. It's a book
Hmm.
called Surrounded by Idiots. So it's about different personalities, and also it has something to do with that. Like that, somebody who's a color red is the entrepreneur, the one that goes out and do it. Color
Hmm.
blue is somebody who's analytical, who makes sure everything's right. Green is the worker bee type, I would say. Yellow
Hmm.
is the marketer, and we all got. I guess they said according to the book, we all have like at least two of that in us, and
Hmm.
that applies to the system. You need somebody who does each of these things within that system, and if your business implements that system, you'll be very successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well said. Well said.
And I think that may be the way the UFC operated because UFC bought the I mean not the UFC bought it, but for Cheetah Brothers and yeah, Cheetah Brothers bought it with Dana White and they purchased the UFC. And I believe they had that system intact and that helped bring the UFC to a higher level.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, so this video right now I titled it the my prediction on Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. Have you been keeping up on this fight? Did you watch
I
that
have.
first one?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, because this is interesting, man. I like this because I need to talk to somebody who actually been in there, who been in the
Hmm.
octagon. Because no, we people like me, we never been in there, so we don't really know what's going on. So
Hmm.
I want to talk about Israel Adesanya, his first fight or his fight with Yoel. People criticized it for being boring, and they said, why didn't Izzy do more? And Izzy didn't press the action more. What's your perspective on what happened during that fight?
I thought it was two very calculated fighters, overly respecting one another, but there was reason why the respect was there.
Yeah.
So like Yoel wasn't bouncing around like he normally bounces around. And a part of me believes that's because Izzy's so good at timing movement and using your movement against you. Um, Yoel didn't want to give him anything he could have. It's almost like Yoel wanted to play the athleticism game. I mean,
Okay.
he's the most athletic freak I've ever seen in the game.
Mm,
And when he did catch me, he caught me and he caught me slipping. Like for that moment, I didn't think he could do anything. And he's very explosive. He's insanely explosive. And so I didn't know he could do what he could do in the ranges that he was able to do it in. Um, and so I think he was trying to play his explosive game without putting himself in too much danger of Israel's ability to counter, ability to have an amazing offense. And one thing that did kind of shock me is Yoel didn't really bring his wrestling out of the bag. You know, I thought he
Mm,
would have. I thought he would have put his wrestling out a little bit more. But even a fighter myself, I'm not in there with them. You know, so they have their
okay.
own perspectives of going into the process and seeing the things that they're seeing. Yoel was able to catch him with a couple of those left hands. You know, he's got a mean,
Yeah.
quick left hand, and he can take a good punch. You know, he's got a pretty good he's got a pretty good chin, and I think he was just looking to get what he could get without putting himself in too much danger. And Izzy wasn't going to bite on things he couldn't utilize. Like if Yoel's not moving effectively or doing anything, he has to be cautious as well. Because we all
Okay.
know Yoel can knock you out from different angles in different places. He's got power for days. And Izzy knowing that, he's going to play the smart game and say, all right, you want me to chop you down with leg kicks? I'll do that, and I'll just put scores on the board and let it play out and win by decision.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, because he started leg kicking him. And the thing is with Yoel, right? I watched this fight with Luke Rocco and Chris Weidman, and they're actually kind of getting the best of him at the beginning
Mhm.
because Yoel he wasn't that active during those two fights as well. But then he'll just come out of nowhere and boom, and the fight's like you're rocked and the fight's over. And he does that
Yeah.
a lot. And I think Izzy was aware of that, and it nearly happened that first round when
Hmm.
he caught Izzy that with that punch, that big
Yeah.
explosive punch, and
Yep.
after that, Izzy's like, look, I gotta play this a certain way. Let me leg kick him from a distance. And I feel like people like us, like the fans, we don't understand what an MMA fighter is dealing with. Like it can end that quick. So that's why I don't like when MMA fans are booing. Because you got to understand what the MMA fighter is dealing with in there. Like anything can happen. All that training you put into it, your career is on the line. So I
Yeah.
don't like when MMA fans are booing when it's not active. This is what we pay for. This is not scripted movies. This is not Rocky. This is real life.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I kind of, because everyone's coming at it through different perspectives. And you notice how, I'll give you an example. You said you started your remixes super young, right?
Yeah.
And how much respect do you have for it now that you're actually in it and doing it and know the difference between good and average and great,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. And so if there's a fan who's booing, they can't understand it. But it's up to me to interpret and say, like, I can't believe they just can't understand it. Like, they don't know
Okay.
what's going on. So I can only do what I can do. And I'm not going to be a fool and be like, wait a minute, they're booing me. I got to do something. Like, and sometimes people do. Like, the most important thing I tell people to do is, regardless of what you're going to do, if you can take full responsibility and full ownership of the reactions that you take, then you're good. So you can't blame the fans for what they're going to do, what they're going to say, how they're going to do it. You can only control what you're going to do in the moment that you're in. And I get fans booing, I get fans not booing, I get and it's just different levels of it. You know, different levels of understanding. And I love that you have such a respect for the fighters and what they go through and the process that they go through.
Mm.
And then you're going to get some fans who don't. You know, they
Yeah.
see their world and I don't why that's so boring. Like they're both dead tired. Like they have
Oh, yeah. That too. Man, the exhaustion involved.
yes.
I made a remix about that. Izzy was criticizing knock him out or something like
Stand
that.
up,
Stand him out, ref.
Brad. Good
Yeah.
remix, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That was like that just sold itself right there. Like, man, Izzy must have
Yeah,
known about me or something because he made it so easy.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
true. And there's a
He's
difference
call,
between oh, what was
he's
that?
calling them amateurs. He's calling them amateurs. So there's
Yeah.
people who are amateurish fans too. Like there's going to be those amateurish fans that really don't know anything about anything, right? And they're
Yeah.
just gonna share their opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 'cause I gotta understand, like, look, there's a lot on the line. I can
Yeah.
understand if the fight doesn't turn out entertaining, it doesn't. You took that risk, you bought the fight. There's no guarantees. This is
Hmm.
real life. This is not WWE. This is not Rocky. This is not a movie. This is
Hmm.
this is this is something. I understand it's the entertainment business, but this is a real fight.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there's a difference between the U.S. crowd and I used to watch Pride and the fans in Japan. Have you fought in Japan, Clifford?
No, but I think it would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I never fought in Japan.
Yeah, they're quieter. I remember Rampage talking about that fighting in Japan. There's just, I guess he said they were more respectful in Japan. Like they didn't boo or
Mm.
anything. They just stayed quiet until something happened. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was talking about that before. So this is an interesting perspective. All right. So what do you think? Okay, let's say Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, the first fight. People are saying that Robert Whittaker was too aggressive. Like he came in there too aggressive. He was trying to be too offensive. I guess they seen what Kelvin Gastelum did, and I guess they're saying Robert tried to do the same thing. What do you think went wrong with Robert Whittaker in that first fight?
I think he just went in with the wrong game plan, and it's hard to adjust
Yeah.
after you have the game plan that you have. Like once you're in there, the adjustments that need to be made become very, very hard to make. And I don't I think he went in with the wrong game plan.
Hmm. Yeah, he came in there. He got countered a lot. I mean, he was getting Izzy here and there, but then Izzy is so great with his counters.
Yeah,
But I noticed with Kelvin, I think what Kelvin was great at was his footwork. He had great footwork. That's what I
yeah.
kind of noticed. So I'm not sure. I think it may have been his footwork that made the difference. And I think in the rematch, I don't know. Know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure what Whitaker could do differently. Maybe I have no idea. 'Cause I'm not in his camp. Like, what is your opinion on what he can do differently?
I think he has to make it an ugly fight. Um, Israel's counters are amazing. He's precise. He's extremely accurate. Great footwork. Uh, Great defensive wrestling. So if Whitaker can push him on the cage, keep him from playing the distance game, keep him from playing the range game, make it as ugly as possible.
Mm,
Ugly for two reasons. One, to get his head right, because the truth is there's two human beings going in there, and one had the outcome the way they wanted it to, and the other didn't have the outcome the way they wanted it to. That does play a role. And so with that playing a role, he's got to make it such a different fight than last time, because every time he has a little memory of the last fight, that's going to come up, and it might
mm.
slow him down by half a second. It might make his footwork a little bit worse. It might make him get a little bit too offensive or a little bit too defensive. It's a game
Okay.
of inches, and you want every inch to count your way and not go towards your opponent.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that happen. Yeah, make it an ugly fight. Huh, that may be the way. All right. I'm thinking of myself. If I to bet some money on this fight. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now, look, I do stand up comedy in LA,
Mhm.
and I get nervous before I get on stage. I'm like, man, I'm nervous. But I could just imagine an MMA fighter like yourself getting into an octagon where I mean, you're putting your life on the line. How do
Yeah.
you feel when you walk into that octagon? Like, what's the feeling in your chest?
Yeah. So the scariest for me is when my hands are getting wrapped, because then it's really real. Like you're not like, oh, take the wraps off. I'm done. I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. Like, so your hands are getting wrapped, and it's about to be real. And it's really important, at least through my perspective. I have to keep my mind on the reality of things. Of it might go well and it might not.
Mm,
I might be in a great position or I might not be in a great position, and to adjust in every possible way that I can adjust. Because the
okay.
most important thing is to be adaptable. And I'm telling you, even as a comedian yourself, we may be going through it through different places. I'm stepping into my arena, but you're also stepping into your arena. And there's a
Okay.
place where it's like you got to look at the audience and how the audience is responding and what you're doing and how they're taking in what you're saying and all these little intricate details that make a difference. And so when I look at all of the pieces, I'm looking at the pieces and saying, how is this affecting me in a positive outlook? Because affecting me in a negative outlook, that's just not helping anything. I love Mike Tyson. I got a lot of respect for Mike Tyson. Got a lot of respect for Muhammad Ali. You know, they
Okay.
went through their process and their philosophies, and I absolutely love both of them. Um, but Mike Tyson, he's talking about how he's nervous going towards the ring, how he's afraid, how he's like uncomfortable, how he's worried about all those negative thoughts. And then when he steps in, he becomes a god.
Yeah.
No, and that's what you have to do. You have to raise your game because you have to play at another level because that other person's playing at that level, especially at the UFC. These are high level fighters who are not joking around with their craft. You know, they put their work in. And I'll tell you, even when I fought Yoel, I was in great shape for that fight. I was ready to go. And I just got caught by that half a second thinking that I did, and he caught me. That's the name of the game, is going like,
Mm.
when it's time to step in, I'm ready to go and ready to do the things that I need to do.
Yeah, it takes. Oh yeah, all it takes is one punch. And I notice when I do stand up, like I'm very nervous before I go on stage. But once I get up there and I start telling a joke, it goes away. It kind of goes away. I'm still a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
on
No.
edge a little bit, but yeah, most of it goes away when I'm actually up there.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And
now come on.
so that even, and it makes me think of Leota, and the reason it does is you're going with the flow, right? So
Mm.
fighters have the flow too. Leota's flow is actually different than everybody else's. You
Oh
know how
yeah,
so it almost makes it hard for a person to get into the flow because his flow is different, which is one reason I like the way that he fights, because it's just like he has this style, and it's like, yeah,
yeah.
it's got to be a very frustrating style to go against, where it's like, I want to be offensive, but he's not giving me the range to be offensive with.
He's one of my favorite fighters. I like yo okay Machida. I'll just call him Machida.
Yeah, Leota
Machida.
Machida, yeah.
Machida, yeah, I like Machida, man. Machida had a unique style back in the day. And I
Yeah.
remember he was fighting. I remember Chris Weidman after he beat Anderson Silva. Chris
Mhm.
Weidman seemed invincible for a short period of time. And Machida was doing pretty well against him. And yeah, Machida always been my favorite fighter. I know him and Anderson Silva are buddies. And
Yeah.
that was just like a I don't know, I just love the way his fighting style is.
Well, there
Yeah.
was a. So I'm gonna go in a little bit of a weird circle. So if you can step with, or if it doesn't make sense, let me know. But Quentin Rampage, he called Leota Machida. He's like, he's the cheetah because he's always running. He's always running away.
Oh.
And I ultimately say styles make fights. So
Yeah.
styles make fights. And Leota is just, it's a frustrating type of style. And what Leota did against John Jones was extremely impressive.
Oh
Like, he was
yeah,
able to
yeah.
counter on John Jones's movement until
Mm.
John Jones, he changed the game. He changed it quick. I mean, respect to John Jones. He can change very quickly. And Greg Jackson is very good at what he does. But they just fought a different game after the first round because that wasn't working. But who else has done that to John Jones other than people who are his own height? Like Alexander Gustafsson, like Thiago Silva.
Oh yeah. And I kind of know that. Yeah, speaking of the Gustafson fight with John Jones, a lot of people they believe Alexander won that fight. And you know, when I first watched it live, I was kind of thinking he may have won this. But then when I watched it, it sounds crazy, but I think John may have won at least 3 of those 5 rounds in that fight.
Yeah, it's
And they were
it's
just
so
close.
tough. It's so tough. I saw a great fight, and it does kind of suck, but there's the reality of things, and you are dealing with human beings who are going to err on the side of the champion. I mean, that's
Mm.
just the way that it's going to be. And they can try and point score it, but there's a reason they say in order to beat the champ, you have to knock out the champ. Now, I'm not saying that's the way it should be, but I'm just saying you're dealing with human beings who are going to score it, and one person's punch or kick may count more in that moment until it's like, oh wait, oh wow, now this person's doing pretty good, and they almost
Yeah.
have to make a switch.
Now, do you think it plays to people's minds like when John Jones fought Gustafson? Gustafson took John Jones down. I think that I think that was the first time John Jones got taken down. John Jones
Yeah,
tried to take him down, couldn't take him down, but that was all within one round.
yeah,
So you think that may have carried on in people's mind to other rounds as well? Because yeah, he did that round. You won that round. That
yeah.
doesn't mean he won the other rounds. And I think that's what people get.
That's a good point too. That's a good
Yeah,
point too. Depending on, like, people will carry momentum over to fights because it's hard not to. Our
yeah.
brains work that way. So we're seeing, what's even funnier, and this is why Mayweather's so damn good at what he does. We remember the beginning and the end of things way better than the middle.
Mm.
And so the best fighters, if they can figure out like how to win the beginning of the exchange and the end of the exchange, that's going to go into the minds of the corners and the judges.
Man, I seen that with Sugar Ray Leonard and Hagler. How
Uh-huh.
Sugar Ray Leonard will flurry at the end of the rounds, and he'll like win the end somehow. He'll make it look flashy. I think
Hmm.
Leonard really played into that.
Yeah, yeah.
He's known
It,
how
it
to.
plays a role on the mind, and that Mayweather was, and I know I'm going back and forth with boxing, and I just love fighting. I love the
Yeah, I
arts
like watching
in
boxing
general.
too. I love
I
boxing.
absolutely love the arts. Um, but he's so good at playing his game and knowing like what the judges are going to like too. I mean, it all
Yeah,
plays a role.
man, Mayweather. I remember watching Mayweather. I'm from Vegas, right? And I used to read the newspaper, and I always hear about Mayweather. I'm like, who's this guy? They're talking about how good he is defensively.
Uh-huh.
And I started watching his fights. I'm like, wow, this guy, the way he moves. And I remember watching his fight against Diego Corrales. The way, and that's the first time I seen somebody hit somebody in the body like that. He do that jab to the body.
Yeah.
Just the way he anticipates things, man. It was just, I believe he's one of the, technically, fundamentally, I think he's the best. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's pretty
it's
sick.
subjective.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's up there.
he has a great style and a great game.
Okay. All right. So what are some books you say, or what some books you would read to, can you talk about getting your mindset right? Are there any books you could recommend on
Yeah, there's
mindset?
Psycho Cybernetics is one.
Psychosophonic.
Um there's another one, I believe it's called The Fighter's Mind. They go into Randy Couture and his fighter's mind, and they talk about a Brazilian jiu-jitsu's fighting experiences. And I actually did read one of Anderson Silva's technique books specifically
Okay.
because he has a very interesting philosophy behind what he does and why he does it that way. GSP, I love just listening to GSP because he's a very intelligent individual who can
Mm.
really, he has a philosophy and a reason why he follows his philosophy, and peeling back the layers of it and understanding it, I'm like, that is very, very impressive how he puts things together. The other one, there's a book from Napoleon Hill, and like every entrepreneur knows this one. So fighters, I don't know how much would, but it's called Think and Grow Rich. And what I love about that book so much is those philosophies are universal. It's not just in entrepreneurship. It's for the mind, it's for the heart, it's for your passion. It gives you the leverage to really create the reality that you want to create.
I heard about that book. I never read it yet. I'm gonna have to. You just reminded me of it. I got to read that book. I
Yeah,
should have
it's a
read that
powerful
already.
book.
So I got to check that out.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah, let
so
me know what you think.
I'm about to go on Amazon and buy that. Yeah, I got to
Awesome.
get that one. And yeah, speaking of like GSP, Yeah, GSP very intelligent fighter. You know, with dinosaurs, he loves dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs.
Yes, yes.
The Anderson, oh, this is a good fight. You know, everything happens for a reason. I went to an MMA expo, right? This is
Yeah.
in I think 2006. Whenever Rashad Evans and Rampage fought, so I went to MMA expo with my friend David back in the day, and I
Mhm.
remember I think it was Thiago. Thiago, he fought GSP at UFC 100. Gosh, my mind. I got my bad
Oh,
memory.
Thiago
Alvarez,
Alves.
Thiago
Yeah,
Alves, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember going to this expo and people were just grabbing at him like he was a zoo animal or something. And he was like looking back like, but I remember his neck was like this wide. I know right now Gilbert Burns he's known for having a wide neck, but
yeah,
Alves had a wide neck. And yeah, I just remember meeting a lot of MMA fighters, and I met John Jones before he became big. I mean, he was kind of known. I think he just fought Stephen Bonner. But I know with John Jones, he felt like he reminded me of my PE teacher for some reason.
uh-huh,
Like he was a motivational guy. He was just cool with everybody. Like, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? What's your name? I'm like, my
yeah.
name's Maurice. Hey, man, come on, man. Let's take this picture, man. Let's go on. So he was just a very cool guy, man. And GSP's line was the longest. GSP had the longest line. Anderson Silva had the second longest, but GSP's line was like triple everybody's line, man. It was just crazy. And this was during Anderson Silva's prime. He had
It
such huge.
it's so interesting how that all comes together because I get really fascinated on why people do what they do, you know.
Mm,
Um and sometimes it's who's the best and sometimes it's who people relate to the most. You
yeah,
know,
that's true.
I relate to GSP cuz he used to get bullied.
Mm,
And when he became famous, he actually helped his bully out, you know, like he gave him some support and he helped him along
yeah,
the way. And I love that kind of process. You know,
yeah,
I don't want to play a game where I'm like, I'm gonna get bigger and stronger than my bully, and then I'll bully the bully. Like that doesn't make sense to me, you know,
yeah.
and that's what I love about GSP. And I think a lot everyone has a caring heart in them, you know,
Mm,
and just off of what you were doing, like if a fighter just took the time to ask you like, well, why are you doing it the way that you're doing it? Like, do you like making fun of people? And he's like, oh, well, I'm kind of poking fun, but it's an art to me, it's a craft to me. And all of a sudden, the offense that people can have to that thing aren't so tremendous anymore.
yeah,
And that's what I look at with even for my fighting career. Sometimes people look at me and they go like, "Well, I'm just doing this, but I haven't done that." And it's like, "Yeah, you have. You've gone after your own dreams. You've gone after your own desires.
yeah,
All I do through my process is to remind you to dream big. That's the game
yeah,
that I play. Just give people a reminder of what they can do and point them in the direction of people who can guide them. And if I'm the one who guides them, then I'm the one who guides them. But everything's a process. We're all doing the best that we can with the tools and the resources that we have.
yeah. Exactly. You'll be surprised. A lot of people are very hesitant on like it could be something that's not even as risky as MMA. Like I was talking about studying. I'm studying for my CCNA, and I'm
Mhm.
taking these tutorials on YouTube. A lot of people are saying, "Man, I'm thinking about doing that." I'm like, you can just do it. You can just go on YouTube right now and just study it. Just go
Yeah,
and do it. Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes you just gotta go.
yeah. Well, we're all a form of an inspiration to everyone. You know, we're always being watched, and sometimes we don't realize that. And people
Mm,
are always teaching us what to do, and they're also teaching us what not to do. And that's why, like, one thing I love about GSP, he's a kind-hearted individual. You know, that's the
yep,
same game that I play. Is be kind, do your best, and when you sign a contract, it's game time. You know,
yep,
when you sign a
exactly.
contract, it's time to go fight. That's the context that we're playing in. But there's also a time where we're walking outside of the cage. And the question is, it's not just who you are inside of the cage, it's who you are when you walk towards the cage, it's who you are when you're in the cage, and it's also who you are when you're outside of the cage.
Yeah, because I feel like I could hang out with GSP. I feel like GSP would be interesting. Like,
Oh,
let's go see the dinosaurs fossils. Let's go over here. Like,
yeah.
it'd be fun to hang out with him. He seems very down to earth.
Yeah, I think it would be an absolute amazing individual to hang out with. And um really ask questions and understand the way he sees the world and why he loves dinosaurs so much. Like, I think that would be a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, I made a remix about that when he was doing the dinosaurs. Like, dude, he was making these
I
weird
saw that
noises.
one too.
Yeah. I was at my delivery job. I was working for Vaughn's delivering groceries, and I listened to MMA video. I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast. I heard him say it. Like, oh, I gotta get home and make this one. So I just got
Yeah.
home, cranked it out. I'm like, oh, let me do this. And yeah,
I
so
love
yeah,
it.
that was yeah, GSP arguably the greatest MMA fighter in the game right now. I mean, in MMA history.
Yeah,
You know,
I love how Chael Sutton puts it. It's one of those things that we just have fun with because you can't really prove it. It's just it's like, okay, who do you see and what tier do you see them in? But yeah, GSP, he did the champ thing in his own way. He didn't technically have both belts, but he did win both belts in two different weight classes. He cleaned out his weight class. He uh, he survived with Jimi Hendrix and did amazingly through that process. And some people saw it the other way around. I think even Dana saw it where Jimmy won. But
yeah.
he put it all together. He put it all together. And Usman is making a heck of a run right now. Like, Usman's looking
Oh
amazing
yeah.
as he goes through his process. And it's pretty cool. Like, I didn't know how close Usman and Izzy were with each other. So Usman wouldn't fight Izzy, and I respect that. Um, but seeing what Izzy's going through and the process that he's going through and the fight that he's getting ready to have with Whittaker, I am really curious to see how that comes together, to see who wins that fight, because it's going to be a different fight this time around, which is
Yeah.
exciting.
Now think about that. Like, I wonder, does this remind me of Anderson Silva when he fought Rich Franklin? You know, 'cause Rich Franklin reminded me of Robert Whittaker. Two very likable fighters. They're the champion. Then there's this
Yep.
guy, this elusive fighter like Anderson Silva, Israel Adesanya, who defeated that likable guy. So like, man, is this gonna turn out like when Anderson Silva did the rematch with Rich Franklin, and it ends up being even more convincing? Like he
Yeah.
does an even better job. That's
Yeah.
the thing we got to find out. We got to
Yeah.
will history repeat itself or
I'm really interested in that because Rich actually fought a better fight the second fight around, technically speaking, even though he looked worse after the fight. Like, it's really interesting to say that, but technically speaking, Rich fought a better fight the second fight. It's just that Anderson had an answer to the new techniques that he brought to the fight.
okay, yeah, okay. He had to answer for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to wait and see, man. This is yeah, we got a lot of. we got,
Yeah.
so, how much do you keep? Do you watch all the UFC events and like you watch Bellator and
Some
was it
of
OMC?
them, like, I I follow Ryan Bader from time
Oh
to
yeah, Ryan
time.
Bader. Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah,
because I got all the respect in the world for him. He's a hard nosed trainer. He puts his um yeah, he puts his money where his mouth is, and he shows up. He's super disciplined. He had kind of a unfair streak, I want to call it, to be honest, when he lost to John Jones, and they were both like coming up, like they were both moving and doing their thing, and then he had that unfortunate thing with Tito Ortiz, and so he had to bounce back from that. But I mean, the top 10, these are just my thoughts and what I've seen as a fighter. Anyone can win in the top 10 on any given day. It really depends. But the champion does get a certain
yeah.
mentality as they're going through their process. When a champion, when they get that belt,
Mm,
like it can go two ways. It can go like, I'm the champ, and then I'm gonna get lazy and do whatever I want because I've gotten there. And then there's those ones who they want it so much and they love it so much they are not gonna let it get away. And those are the great champions. Those are the great champions. But I also say it can go both ways. Like when Anderson broke his leg on Weidman, that Anderson who walked out for that fight wasn't the same one that walked out when he fought Nick Diaz. He's still a human being. And that's what
yeah,
people need to remember. Like, he was nervous in that fight. His energy was different in that fight. And he came
Yeah.
out and he got the victory, and all the respect in the world for taking such a devastating injury and loss and turning it around into his win. But he's still a human being, and
Mm,
that's the beauty of it. Like, that's the
yeah.
beauty of it, is any given day anything can happen, especially when you're playing with the top of the top.
Yeah, 'cause I know I watched that fight. I remember watching that fight at a Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that. And I remember Anderson Silva crying after that fight. Like, he just broke
Yeah,
down crying. Like,
yeah,
I got through this. Like, he had to deal with the rehab. And us from the outside who are not MMA fighters, we don't know what you guys are dealing with in that camp. You know, the injuries you're dealing with, the weight cut. We don't understand that.
yeah,
So when somebody's like Anderson Silva's crying, like, he dealt with a lot of stuff. Like, man, it's a
yeah.
lot that went through his mind.
Those
And
those training camps, yeah, they're intense for sure, and different things are happening in different places. I've fought through certain injuries as I've gone through
yeah.
camps. I've had camps, and I don't really like using my injuries as excuses, so I'm not going to say the names of what happened in my fights, but I've had camps where I'm fighting high-level fighters and I can't move my back properly.
Mm,
And my whole thing is like, I signed the contract. Now my wife doesn't like that so much. She's like,
yeah.
no, just don't do the fight. And I'm like, no, I'm doing it. This is the game that I'm playing, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have to adjust accordingly and try and keep my cardio up and get healthy come fight time. It is what it is. It's part of the game.
Yeah, that mental aspect, because I go hiking, I run up the hills, and there be times, I'm getting older now, and my back start hurting a little bit. I'm like, man, yeah, and I gotta keep it in my mind. Like, I surprise myself. I'm like, look, I could go far as hell, but then, yeah, that when your mind start thinking like I can't do it no more, that's when you fail. But if you don't, sometimes I forget I'm even running and I'm going far. I'm like, man, I broke my record.
Yeah,
So if you
that
got to make sure
that's
that mind.
that's the beauty of coaching. Like that, like what I love when I made the transition from fighter to entrepreneur, I just took the skills that I had as a fighter and I just apply them to entrepreneurship, because
Okay.
ultimately it all starts and ends up here. When you can get
Mm.
that right, you win the game.
Yeah, you gotta know how to deal with adversity. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that
Yeah.
actually makes you stronger. Yeah, adversity makes you a better person. It
Yes.
definitely makes you a better
Big
person.
time.
I want to pick how much more time you got. Yeah,
I got
let's say
about
yeah.
15 minutes.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay. Yeah, you're talking about the champion mentality, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So people bring up with John Jones, they bring up his last fight with Reyes, and they said that
Mhm.
people think he should have lost that fight, and they are using that to say that he has no chance against Francis Ngannou. Now, if he barely beat this guy, what chance does he have against Ngannou? And Mike Tyson said on Hot Boxing, when the stakes are that high, it brings out a different side in fighters. Like, the stakes
Yeah.
are different for this fight. You're going to see a different level. So, what's your opinion on that?
Well, I already love Mike Tyson's philosophies, and Mike Tyson really, he's a deep thinker. People are starting to realize that now. And I agree. Ultimately, when it's game time to go to that next level, to that next experience, you're going to show up differently.
Mm,
With that being said, this is MMA, and boxing's different than MMA. Like in boxing, you still get that 10 count, and that helps a lot. Like that helps. When you have those small gloves and you can clip someone right, it makes it a different fight. And the one thing Francis can do is turn your lights off if he hits you right.
mm,
Like I was really
yeah,
impressed with what Gon was doing in that fight to be able to not get caught by that guy's sledgehammers. And
yeah,
Francis, respect to him because he made the adjustment and showed that, oh yeah, I can wrestle, and shows how I knew he was strong, but damn, the way he picked up a grown ass man and threw
yep,
him on the ground, that's a different level of power. And
yeah, exactly.
so I know he's been working on his wrestling, so we got to look at that too. I would love to see what that fight's going to bring out in both of them, because I think the biggest winners, honestly, I think everyone's going to win. John's going to learn something about himself. Francis is going to learn something about himself, and the fans are going to get an amazing show of entertainment and tacticians. So I'm excited for that.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that, man. I do agree with that. And let me see, answer a couple of questions, then we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks a lot, Clifford, for showing up, man.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Somebody said, let me see this comment. Usman has a lot on his plate now that Hamzat is coming. I can't say his name. I'm bad at pronouncing it. Yeah, Hamzat is coming. What's your opinion on Hamzat?
I think that
Have you
guy's
been
an
keeping up?
animal. Holy crap. He's running through everyone, and I want to see what happens when he faces a top 10, because you don't know until they're playing with the big boys.
Mm,
I think that's a
yeah,
different game altogether.
his confidence is on another level. This guy just
He's extremely confident, and I love it.
fire.
I love how he brings the confidence to the game. What I will say, yeah, I want to see him face a top 10, because they're the UFC is doing what they're supposed to do, which is hyping up fights who are easy to hype up. He's easy to
Yeah,
hype up. He's super confident. He believes in himself, and he's smashing everybody that he
yeah,
fights. But
yeah.
but
Oh, to
we
smash
won't know
people.
until he actually gets to another to that next tier of fighter, and then we'll really see, like, oh crap, he's the real deal. So I'm curious to see, just as much as Roundabout Midnight is.
Yeah, you know what they say? What they say? Dana White when he says, "Never my friend." That's
Yeah,
that meme. Yeah, never my friend. Yeah, Hamzat is my friend. Right now, Nagano was never my friend. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. At least he somebody posted. Yeah. Mr. Starks, props for coming on and doing the live chat, more experience and the fans. Yeah.
oh,
Thank you for that. I
yeah,
would like to do
thank
some
you.
more. I would like to do some more videos whenever you got the time, and just talk about like other fights and collab on them. And
Yeah,
yeah, I did. I did plug your channel. Where is it? Right. I did. It's on to plug your channel.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
appreciate it.
Clifford Stark's page right there, and I'm gonna plug it on my community section. And yeah, I
Appreciate it,
appreciate
brother. Thank
you
you.
coming on here, man. You know what? I'll also invite you on my other page where we can talk about entrepreneurship and business. So whenever
Okay.
you got
Yeah,
time, I appreciate that.
absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so yeah, that's it. Yeah, thanks, Clifford. Thanks for giving me your time to talk
Yeah,
about
thank
MMA
you.
and everything like that. I
We
appreciate the
made
time,
perfect
man.
time because my son is coming out, as you can see.
Oh yeah, I hear it right now.
I can only last for so long before he gets anxious and wants to hang out with daddy.
He's like, that's enough. I'm going here.
Yes, I'm almost done,
All right,
brother.
let me get you out of here, man. All right, great talking to you, Clifford.
All right, Maurice, you have a great day, and everybody else, take care. It was an absolute pleasure. Take care, my brother.
All right, thank you. All right, what's up, guys? That was a great interview. I enjoyed that interview, and I could definitely see me and Clifford doing more interviews in the future. I could see it being something like um, DC and Ariel Harwani or DC and RC, something like that. We're talking about certain things in MMA, and also he's an entrepreneur and he's a businessman. So I also want to talk about business on my other page that's not MMA related, so he could talk about his business goals and things like that. So yeah, thank you for people who are tuning in right now. I'm seeing some new comments right here. Yeah, I want to definitely take this page into a different direction. I said I wasn't going to do remixes anymore, but now I'm seeing what I can do with this page. I could do interviews. I could get some interviews going and mix that in with the remixes. So I'm going to experiment with that. So I know I said I wasn't going to do the remixes anymore, but I don't know what's going on with my page. Like somebody said, I got 30,000 subscribers. I got 7 people tuning in right now, so I don't know what's going on. I'll check out my page. I'll look YouTube into my YouTube studio and figure out what's happening. Are y'all getting notifications? Like what's happening? But yeah, Clifford Starks. I'm definitely gonna do some more videos with him. I got to make sure when he's available. So yeah, that's something. You know, who knows? I might do an interview with Luke Rocco. I don't know how he will. He probably don't know anything about my remixes. He probably doesn't have a clue, but let's say he does. He's seen this shit. That'd be something else, man. Yeah, sometimes I'm thinking like, man, what if I run into this guy? What if I run into Luke Rocco? Like, man, you're the one who been doing this, huh? I see how you look. I know how you look, man. And I must admit, Luke Rocco will fuck me up in a fight. I'm not messing with no MMA fighter. I believe I can throw hands, man. I believe I got the skills, man. I kind of know. See, you got to keep that when you jab. When I took boxing lessons, jab, keep the shoulder where the chin is, right here. I could jab, but I could throw. I could fight, but man, when it comes to an MMA fighter, shit, you got to know what you could do. I may have to use my 4.6, my 4.5 40 to run away. I ain't fucking with no Luke Rocco. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, let's see what y'all got to say. Yeah, that was really interesting. Yeah, I can see that. That could be interesting, man. Yeah, I always see Clifford commenting on my page. I didn't know that was him at first. I'm like, oh man, I didn't know that. But he took it. He took it well. He wasn't mad or anything. Cause I know that clip. I'll download like when I do a UL remember in remix. I'll look up the GIF on Google, and that one will pop up all the time. I'll just put random clips of him fighting people, and that one will always pop up. Say, yeah, do this again. Yeah, I want to do this again, man. Look, I got some diehards right here. I got a lot of diehards. But my prediction. Oh yeah, let me tell you my prediction. 'Cause I got it titled that way. I want to put Clifford's name in there. I didn't. Those. I did, when I scheduled this. I didn't have him confirmed yet. But my prediction. I got Izzy winning this fight. I got Izzy winning this fight. By let me see. I'm just gonna go for it. I gotta win it by. Hmm. I don't know, man. I'm thinking. See, now I'm going through it. I'm thinking right now because Robert Whittaker's good. Robert could surprise us. Then you don't know if he was injured during that fight. That's the confusing part. It's best not to think too much. I almost got that Nagano fight right. Had Nagano winning by fifth round knockout, but he didn't knock him out. It was the decision. Man, especially after seeing what happened with Nunez and Pena. Like, what's going on? I should just go. No, I ain't go. Anyway, let me ask some. Read these comments first, and I'll say something. You said Izzy. Scorpio says Izzy got this in a bag. Oh, you got this in a bag? Okay. All right. All right. All right. Baba Yega says Israel is winning easy. Mm. As an older man, his comebacks are legend. Couture, one of the greatest ones. Yes, that's true. That's definitely true. Killers who are taller and bigger than me. He was really a phenomenal. Huge heart, courage. Much respect to Randy Couture. Hmm. I want to hear more about his biz as well. Yeah, you'll hear more. So I'm gonna get another interview with Clifford. Hopefully, I think we're gonna be doing more interviews. So I'm gonna do more interviews with Clifford because also yeah. So I'm gonna definitely talk to him about his business. Y'all see the books I got in the background? Look, I put those books in the background on purpose. I don't really get like most of the time those books aren't there. This whole background is sloppy. I don't got none of this stuff back there. I had to make it look nice. You know when somebody's coming to your house, you start cleaning up real quick. Like, hey, let's put everything in here. Let's put the pillows in place on the couch. Make sure everything's good. That's what I did. Like before this podcast started, none of those books were there. I haven't read those books in a long time. I just had to put them there to make it look good. If I had a chance, I will put more books on there. I'll stack it up more. But yeah, they just look good. Just look good back there. Yeah, sometimes notifications. Yeah, the notifications. Yeah, that's why I gotta check. Like, what's going on with my MMA page? If you look at my other page, I have 3,000 less than 3,000 subscribers on Mo Spears Music. I put a remix out yesterday. 100 comments. No, I think the views for the remix is like under 2,000 views. 100 comments, about 400 likes. That type of engagement on that page. I'm getting more views on that page, and I got. No, it shouldn't be about the views, man. I do enjoy making the remixes, the process. I'm getting older right now, so I'm really trying to um manage my time in a certain way. I got goals. I want to try. I'm in an apartment right now. I want to move into a house, and I'm trying to get this business. See, I got an electrical contracting business, and I also want to get this other business, staffing company. I want to get off the ground too. I want to talk to Clifford about that too, about other business, government contracting. I want to talk to him about that. So I'm definitely going to talk to him about business and MMA as well. If Luke knows, I wonder if he'd come on if he seems too high, sprung to laugh at it. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, man. I don't know how. When I used to do remixes when I was younger, I look back at those remixes. I'm like, man, that's kind of mean. That was kind of mean. I look back at that. So I'm like, how would he react to that? That's what I think. Like, man, that's kind of mean. I remember that Ronda Rousey one I did was kind of mean. I was like, that's pretty mean. But I'm just trying to make people laugh. And sometimes you do that at the expense of people. But I am a comedian. I'm going to make fun of people. But I'm messing with these MMA fighters, man. They'll fuck somebody up. That's what I'm talking about when I was brought up with Mike Perry. There's certain MMA fighters that you don't want to get in fights or you don't want to trigger, and they'll smack you real quick. Mike Perry's one of those guys. The Diaz brothers. That's why I don't think John Jones is that guy. John Jones, I feel like you really got to push him. You got to really push John Jones for him to fight you back. That's my feeling. Anderson Silva don't seem like the guy that'll smack you real quick. GSP seems like he's so cool. He's like, nah, man, step back, security, come on, get them out of here. I don't want them to do that. GSP, man, you really got to say something crazy for him to pop you. That's the vibe I'm getting. There's certain fighters who will quick to smack you, and there's certain fighters who they'll give you a chance. Bro, check my comment above about you cannot judge a fighter by his size or how he looks. Yeah, I know about Randy Couture. Yeah, I seen him fight Brock Lesnar. When you're a wrestler, you're a great wrestler, you'll do better against bigger fighters than if you're primarily a striker. So Randy Couture, I remember watching him. I remember watching him fight Brock Lesnar. And he was handling Brock Lesnar pretty well, but he got caught with that one punch. Randy Couture is very good. So I do know, yeah, size don't mean everything. But if you're a great wrestler, you can do well. Look at DC, Daniel Cormier. When he fought Josh Barnett, Josh Barnett was much bigger than him. Not much bigger, but he was bigger. DC picked him up off the ground, slammed him. Bigfoot, he fought Bigfoot, did very good against him. So it's not just about size. Sometimes you got. I believe when you got a great wrestling, that can make all the difference. Wrestling and MMA is the most important from my perspective. That's why I like having Clifford on there, somebody who actually fought in Octagon. Cause a lot of us, keyboard warriors, we talk all this shit, and these other MMA fighters are actually in there putting their lives on the line. So I give all respect to MMA fighters, although I am making fun of them with these remixes. That's why I like don't. Sorry, I'm sorry. I've been making fun. What's his name? The guy who does the animation, I cannot say his name. Muhammad Fudilat. Now he goes in. He goes in on these MMA fighters. See, you think what I'm doing is bad? He's going in on these MMA fighters. So what I'm doing does not compare to what he's doing. And actually, I left a comment on this page. I want to do a collaboration with Muhat Fudilat. Can I say? I can't. The MMA animator guy. I left a comment on this page. I'm going to be more aggressive with this. I'm going to put the word out. I want to do a collaboration with you. And we could be the gorillas of MMA. Y'all know about the gorillas, right? If you know about the gorillas, that's what I'm looking to do. He could do the animations, I could do the music, and we could come out with some great stuff, man. We could do something crazy. I know he put out a remix, but fuck with my remixes, man. Fuck with my remix. You can put it on your page. You can put it on this page. It doesn't have to go on my page. You can make the money from it. Just plug in my channel, because there's always got to be a benefit. You could use my remixes. I won't copyright strike you. I just want my page plugged in. Hopefully, I can get some of his subscribers on my page. Izzy doesn't have a ground game, as Jan exposed. It wasn't the size difference that Izzy wasn't doing the right things to get up. If Whittaker could take advantage and actually get a takedown, yeah, and that's something he might do. Yeah, that's interesting. He might do that. Yeah, it's an interesting take on there because Izzy, I feel like Izzy is small. It's built. His build is like, I don't think he got a wrestler type body. You see a lot of wrestlers, they got a certain body type that's good for wrestling. Like John Jones. John Jones, he has small legs, skinny legs. He's tall. He does have like large arms, but he has a large, like a wide back. So this is why it benefits him when it comes to wrestling. Usman as well. Usman has skinny. His body's shaped just like John Jones. He has skinny legs, skinny arms. His body's skinny, but his back is hella wide. So that is a benefit, when it comes to wrestling, because you got to have that wrestling base in MMA. Because we seen what happened to Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva was definitely exploited because his takedown defense has always been weak. Anderson Silva always had that poor takedown defense. And the first person that I seen exposed it was in the UFC was Luder. Luder exposed it. I remember watching this fight live. I went to this fight live with my friend Patrick. And I seen Travis Luder. I thought he was going to beat Anderson Silva. And he was kind of grounded and pounded him. Then Anderson Silva, using his jiu-jitsu, I think he was able to wrap him up, and he was elbowing him on the side of his head. And that shit was hella painful. So that's something that you should take into account. Good job with the interview. You made it sound like a natural conversation. Yeah, Waxy. I try to make it sound great. What I don't want to do is what I hate that other interviewers do. They ask long questions and then they start tagging in other questions, right? So they'll ask a question. They'll be like, "What's your name?" But before you answer that, what's your name and how did you get that name and when did they name you that? Okay. Then when they're about to answer, they'll interrupt them again. And why did they name you that instead of naming you this? And if you had this name, how would you react to having this name as opposed to that name? Because I have this name, and this name does not compare to that name. How would you perceive that name if you were named that name? Okay, because that's something that I want to be named back in the day. And they'll just start going off. And that question goes for like 5 minutes. The people who ask the longest questions are Teddy Atlas and Patrick Bett, that guy who has that channel Valuetainment. They ask long ass questions. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, God damn. Teddy Atlas, when he was interviewing Dana White, this dude was asking the longest questions. I'm like, you just asked him, like, what did you do to convince the Fertitta brothers to buy the UFC? And then he starts tagging in some other stuff on it. I'm like, dude, long ass questions, long-winded questions. I hate that. But yeah, thank you, man. I'll try to learn from that. I don't want to ask long questions. We're here to hear you're here to hear the guy that I'm interviewing. You heard enough from me. You want to hear the guest that I have on there. Let me drink some of this water. This is so unprofessional. It feels my brother Jacob. God rest his soul. He'll be drinking a bottle of vodka during the interview. But yeah, I'm drinking this water. Look at I don't know what that means. I can't read Russian. Is that Russian? I don't know what this means. Look at this. What does this mean? I don't know none of this. What's going on here? Google Translate. I believe Maurice deserves 1 million subscribers. Yeah. Touchdown. I deserve 1 million. Thanks a lot. But I appreciate you guys that are here. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's 9 remixes in a row. I deserve a remix shot. That's 9 remixes in a row. That's a good one. Well deserved 1 million subscribers. Yeah, I'm waiting for my 1 million. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. It's normal. It's normal to get 1 million. 1 million subscribers. For my fans, with my family, for the love of MMA. I do this. I don't do this for the subscribers. I do this for love. My name is Anderson Silva. I make remixes. I do it all for love, not for the money. I love this stuff. I'm black belt in remixes. Oh yeah, it's like what's going on? I just realized I was unsub from you. I see you. Yeah, sub back. No, I got a Rumble account, so I got stuff on Rumble. YouTube tripping right now. Y'all see what's going on with Joe Rogan? They trying to get Joe Rogan out of there. They trying to get Joe Rogan out of there, man. It's crazy. It's scary. They digging up all this dirt. They're digging up all this dirt right now. They getting all this stuff. He said some racist comments. I've seen the video before. Look, man, we all say things we regret. I said things that I regret. I don't care. But they're really trying to get him out of there. Well, the comments he made, yeah, they put somebody put together an N-word compilation. All the times he said the N-word. I'm like, damn, they're trying to get him out of there. Oh, like, wow. They're trying to get Spotify to drop him. Well, it's crazy. Oh, you said that's a bot. Oh, that guy's a bot? Oh, shit. I'm getting hit with the bot, some of this motherfucker. Wax says, I don't think that one is a bot, just a Russian. Oh, okay, so it's not a bot. So I asked the guy who's Russian, write it in English. I can't read that. I'm not Khabib. I can't read it. I'm studying Spanish. Maybe I can understand Spanish, but I can't read no Russian. Russian is something else, man. I'm not that guy, the machine. What's that guy, the comedian machine, Joe Rogan's friend? The machine. He's talking about being in Russia. Drink some of that Russian vodka. I gotta go to Russia. How's Russia? Do anybody know how Russia is? I want to go to Russia. I have to go to Russia. I want to travel the world. I'm going to travel the world. I want to go to Russia. So if anybody knows, man, let me know how it is in Russia. Because I remember talking about going there, and I said it's cold, and someone's like, no, that's a stereotype. It's not cold. You got to go. There's beaches out there. So just let me know what's going on. I saw that with Indian R. Oh yeah, India RE. Yeah, she pulled it. Yeah, it's crazy, man. What's going on? They're going to use our emotions, right? They trying to put that video of what he said in the past to get black people emotional. They're going to try to use us to get them canceled. To be honest, I don't care. I got my own problems. I'm trying to focus on my goals, so I don't care. Come to Japan first and hit me up if you do. Okay, you're in Japan? All right. I'll definitely hit you up, man. How's the food in Japan? I want to go to Japan. I wonder if that's a good place to live. Is it a good place to live? I feel like I just gotta go somewhere else. Like I'm in LA right now. I want to go to Japan. Just be in Japan, man. I just want to see how it is there. Give my money up and go to Japan, or I could just go now. It's definitely a bot. Those are attached to certain pages. Kwame self talk. Okay. Oh, you're from my other page. Okay. Oh yeah, I do remember you. Yeah. Yeah, I do remember you. Been here 24 years. It's I. Oh, okay. How are the women over there? How are the women? How the Japanese women in Japan? I just want to know. Just curious. He said Zadavara. It's basically. Oh, it basically means hello. Okay. So he said hello to me. All right. Ugh. 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 Yeah, I'm getting a little tired. I don't know how they do it. Like Joe Rogan, how he does interviews for like 4 hours, talking for 4 hours. I'm starting to lose my voice. I gotta drink some more water. Yeah, so I may put some more remixes out. I changed my mind. There's a remix I may put out with DC with Daniel Cormier. Let me show you. This is something I might make. So when I watch videos, right? It's always in my head to make a remix. So I see certain things, and I'm like, let me make a remix out of that. So I'm thinking about making a remix out of this. I'm gonna share it with y'all. DC was doing the hockey thing. Let me see. Oh God, shit! Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh God! Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh God! So that could be a song right there. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh God! Oh shit! Oh shit! See that little part could be a song. It's crazy, man. I just heard that. I'm like, that could be a track. Shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh! That could be a song. That could be a song. Oh shit! Oh shit! Now I can add some of these other scenes to it as well. That'll be the hook. That's interesting, man. I could do something with that. I like this thing I got now. I like this streaming thing. I'm using StreamYard. I got to upgrade. And then once I upgrade, I could take that off, the logo off. They want me to pay to take that off. So I'll tell people like when you study for cybersecurity, this is for IT, period. I'm studying for the CCNA. You learn to make stuff like this, like StreamYard. That's how millionaires are created. You become millionaires doing stuff like that. He said they'll love you on in Japan. Oh yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna check out Japan, man. End up like Rampage. Rampage over there. He got one of those Japanese women pregnant in Japan. Rampage over there getting it in Japan. You start hearing Japan. When I arrive, like Street Fighter, that plane lands in there, Japan, and it'd be me like that. All right, so yeah, that was a great interview. I appreciate it. I'm trying to become a great interviewer, man. I'm studying on how to be a great interviewer. I'm looking at what people do. when an interview that I don't like, and people talk too much, ask questions that are too long, and that's how I do it. I'm losing my voice right now. I did a live earlier today, so all right. So that's it for this live, man. Thank you. Oh, you got a question? Let me answer. Yeah, if y'all throw some questions in there, I'll stay a little longer. Throw some comments in there. If y'all do, I'll stay a little longer. But now I'm going to end it. But he's asking the question. Hey, Maurice, you got Rampage versus Anthony Johnson both in their prime. That's interesting. Man, yeah, it's like the same person in a way. I got Rampage winning. Now, who's in better shape though? They both get tired. They're both strong. They both have knockout power. I'll say Anthony Johnson is better with the kicks. He can, Rampage doesn't throw me kicks. Hmm. I'm thinking right now. Who has better wrestling? I got Rampage. You know, that kind of reminds me. I got Rampage winning that fight. Let me look something up. I remember classic Rampage. These youngins out here, they don't know about Rampage like that. They don't know about Rampage. Rampage, man. This is when you look it up. You don't see this often anymore because fighters are better now. They're better equipped to deal with this. But I remember this fight. I remember this. Wow. I remember seeing that shit. I was like, God damn. The way he slammed him like that, man, that was crazy. Went Rampage Jackson. Israel by second round KO. Hmm. That's interesting, man. Thoughts on Strickland versus Hermanson? You want to see what Strickland's about. Strickland's the serial killer. Strickland's crazy. Strickland's out his goddamn mind. And I want to see, this is going to be a test. I want to see if Strickland has star power potential. He needs to win this fight because if not, he may end up like a Darren Till. Because there's a lot of great personalities in MMA, but they're not living up fight wise. So he has that personality that we all want in an MMA fighter. Strickland has it. So that's a star in the making. I don't know too much. I have no idea how it's going to turn out. I was watching their fights. I was watching both of their fights, and I just couldn't really come up with a determination on who's going to win that one. But if I'm Dana White, if I'm an MMA promoter, I want Strickland to win that. He could be a star. Because a lot of MMA fans, what they want more than a fighter being great in the octagon, they want a fighter who's great outside the octagon. They want them tweeting funny stuff. They want them doing funny videos. This is what y'all want. Strickland provides that. I got another question, random as fuck. But Demetrius Johnson versus Brock Lesnar in the kickboxing match. Could he win by using outside? He probably could win that against Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar, oh, the kickboxing match, where Brock Lesnar couldn't wrestle. No, I think that'd be like I got DJ winning that fight. DJ will win that fight. You know, he might break his leg kicking his Brock Lesnar's big ass legs though, but I could see DJ winning that so fast. No, because Brock Lesnar's not that quick. That's not that. That's not. It's not ridiculous to say that DJ will win that. Misha Johnson, one of the best ever, if not the best. Then he takes his losses very well too, and I think he just lives. He's living a good life, man. Do you think Conor should retire after his last video? Oh, I didn't see that last video yet. Let me check it out. What happened? I'll do a reaction to that last video I talked about. So did he say something crazy? Is this something I could remix? JSZ. What did he say? He said he's high as hell. Let me see what he says. Oh, okay. Oh, I see it right here. All right, let me share it with y'all. I never seen this video, so let me see what it is. He got his thigh right there, his leg poking out. Let's see. The fuck? The hell? The fuck? What the fuck is this? I thought he was eating some pussy or something. What the fuck? Damn, man, give me some of that shit. God damn. I gotta watch that again. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh. Then he said, I thought it was gonna be him eating some girl out or something. She's gonna be sitting on his face, and he's like, yeah. That's what it sounds like. It sounds very sexual. Like this is something you hear outside the door. Like you're listening in. It's like, what's going on in that bedroom? Sound like you're having sex. Said, That could be a remix right there. Damn. Hey, that's the life, man. Conor's living his life. Living a good life. Living a good life. Eating that ice cream. Man. Who wins? Usman or Hamzat? I'm gonna wait until I see Hamzat next fight. Right now I got Usman. Well, I want to see how Hamzat does against if he fighting Gilbert Burns. I'll see how he does in that fight. Then I'll make my prediction. So give me some time because we haven't seen enough of Hamzat. We don't know how he's going to take a punch, how he's going to deal with being in deep waters. So we're going to find out a lot about Hamzat. So let's wait on it. Let's pump the brakes. Let's see how he does in his next couple of fights. Or if he blows out Burns, he'll probably get a title shot. That's what the UFC wants. The UFC wants Hamzat to win. They want him to be the next star. He would have already got a title shot already if it wasn't for COVID. If COVID didn't happen, he would have got his title shot already. That's the only reason why he's not getting that title shot yet. All right, man. Thank you, Yanistan. Have a good night, bro. Thank you. Yeah, he's definitely high as hell. High as fuck. Yeah, R&B remix out of that, man. That'll be something. I'll see about it. Connor posts high and people lose their minds. Why retire? Still talking about. Yeah, people still talking about Connor. The ice cream looked pretty good though. Connor needs a tuna fight. Yeah, he had a tuna fight with Cowboy Cerrone. Knee. Unless he fights who could be a tune-up fight for him? What division he fight? He fights lightweight. I don't know. Connor in a tune-up fight. Yeah, he does need a tune-up. Yeah, he can't lose his next fight. That's not gonna look good. What is your view on Ali Al Abdelaziz? He's a smart guy, businessman, hustler's mentality. I kind of heard his story when he was in. I think he was in New York or something like that. He's a hustler. The guy that shows up in a barbershop, he'll show up in black barbershops, selling shit, hustling. He got a lot of lumps on his head. He got a lump head. Yeah. I looked at the MMA video with the MMA animator guy. I can't say his name, man. Muhat Fudilat. And I was laughing at one part he put on there when he had Ali. He hit his head, knocked him for the door to come open. That part made me laugh the way he bust the door open with his head. He's like, boom. I'm like, what the fuck? What would make you think of that? Like he said, boom. That shit was. I was laughing at that part. Ferguson versus McGregory should have been. Yeah, McGregory. Conor McGregory. Floyd Senior. We'll call him that. McGregory. McGregory. Even Shane Mosley was calling McGregory. McGregory. Yeah, lump head. He got a lot of lumps like a cartoon. Those cartoons will get that lump. You can put some cake on top of it and shit, and it'll pop up like a Tom and Jerry movie, cartoon or something. Like you got hit with a couple of lumps on your head. It's like that's why he didn't fight no more. It's like, man, these lumps aren't going away, so I gotta end my career, man. I gotta become a manager. I wonder if there's a brain, like each lump. I wonder if there's a brain in each side, in each lump. Like if each lump has their own type of, organism and personality. Like, damn, this one is the business side of his head. Like each of those lumps. Ali got the most lumpy head I've ever seen in my entire life. No, he wears. No, look, man, I can't knock him, man. Look, I gotta take my hat off. Said take my hat off to you. I'm taking my hat off to him, man. Look, I'm gonna show you my head. Look at it. I'm bald. I got hair that's supposed to grow here, but so. No, at least he's embracing this baldness. I got hats on all the time. I'll do the rest of his life without my hat. She definitely can. That 135, I don't know, maybe that's the reason. I don't want to take any credit away from Juliana. So I don't want to take credit away from her, but we'll find out. Do you like or hate the Jake Paul Dana White diss song? I like it. It serves its purpose. It's funny. And then he went at Masvidal really bad that first line. Then he was talking about Diaz, and he said some ad lib. I wish I noticed that ad lib when I did my reaction. So I got to work on my reactions. But it was funny. His ad lib, he said, "They ain't funny," or something like that. Diaz said so he put some ad lib in there. It was hella funny. You could barely hear it when he was talking about Nate Diaz. He went in though. Man, that shit was hilarious. I liked this song. Yeah, dome reveal. Man, the dome reveal. Look at that. Shit, my hairline is done. I got my hairline receding so bad. Look at that. Shit, help me, please. Should I get some hair implants? Should I get the hair implants? That's what I'm thinking. Like, should I get some hair implants right there? But then I'll be like, like Jake Paul, got your hat. So if when I start getting a lot of money, like maybe I should get some hair implants. I may not get that though. I'm going to embrace my baldness. I'm not insecure about it like that. The dome reveal. All right, that's it for the podcast, though. I'm about to end this for my live. All right, man. Great speaking with y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming in. You know, we got a lot of diehards right here. Thanks for tuning in, man. That was a great interview with Clifford. Looking to do some more in the future. All right, I am out.